Hi, I'm NFL quarterback Brett Favre. You might know me from my 19-year NFL career where I threw for over 70,000 yards and 500 touchdown passes, but I also threw 336 interceptions. And sure, some of those interceptions hurt, but no interception hurt more than the ones that came after my career was over. Perhaps you remember my very private personal text messages I sent to a New York Jets hostess. Intercepted! Or just this month when the text messages came out to when I was asking the governor very nicely for just a little bit of funding so that my daughter could play volleyball in a new gym. Intercepted! Now you might think I would have learned my lesson after the first time, but I'm a little old country boy from Mississippi and I've been hit in the head over 800 times. 800 times? That's a whole lot of waffle fries, and I do really like ducks. Anyway, I'm not having that problem anymore ever since I got my burner phone. Just do your shady deals in your personal business and then throw that sucker away. And if you're like me, you're gonna need a lot of them. That's why I'm happy to announce that we're now selling a 4-pack for $99.99. Or is it 9-pack for $4.99? I don't remember. So just use it and lose it. It's that easy. So hurry up and get down and buy your Brett Favre burner phone today. Seriously, come fast because I'm going to jail soon. And anyone who orders today gets a free pick. Hi, welcome. You're watching Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest American sports betting show in the world. As always, I'm your host, Rocky Foré, here with my ever-trusty BFF, the Steamroller.
Nope. Yeah, you're half right, Rocky. I am the Steamroller.
Was it not Steamroller? Oh.
Unless BFF stands for something that I'm not aware of, then no. But it's good to see you again. How was your week?
It was great. I did a lot. I went to the local swimming pool, swam a couple laps, ate some Doritos, got caught up on the flight attendant, all sorts of fun stuff.
Sounds like a big week for you. That's a busier week than normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Did you watch some football?
That was on this week?
Okay. Good chat. Hey, we got a great show today, man. A couple of my favorite handicappers are on the show. You guys are regulars if you've seen us before on the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel, which, by the way, you should be subscribed to. If you're not, if you're watching this, don't be a freeloader. Just click that subscribe right there. And, of course, give us the like. We beg for approval around here. But if you've been a regular of the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel, you've seen these next two guys, and I'm happy to have them here. Let's start right next to me on your television dial. He has the hairstyle that I aspire to. He's still got that drill sergeant look. He was a gentleman that did some time in the Marines, keeping us all safe in here in America so we could do the goofy stuff that we do. You know him, you love him. He's the king of parlays. It's Chris King. What's up, buddy?
Good to see you, Scott. I'm basically the Sergeant Slaughter of professional betting.
Excellent. And
let me tell you something there, Rocky. I don't know what kind of hijinks you like running around, but it doesn't fly in this camp, buddy. I'll have you mopping the deck and doing 20 push-ups every time you screw up.
20? I don't even do that many in a week.
And I'm not talking push-ups, but getting up off the couch.
What was the first thing you do with him? You cut that hippie hair? You cut that hippie? Oh yeah. Cut that Trevor Lawrence?
He'd have less hair than I do.
Oh, no.
He'd have less hair than I do. I'd have him look like Bruce Smith right now. The complete cue ball look.
I mean,
very good.
I'll try it.
And Chris, you do parlays. I know you've been hot lately. Tell us about your recent record in your parlays.
Well, we had three parlays hit yesterday. We cleared over $1,000 for anybody that would have bet on them. Had a good weekend too. Cleaned up on Saturday. We had all 16 games because when I do stuff for the NFL, I look at them all. Went 11-5 over the weekend. Minnesota screwed me over yesterday, so it was kind of ended on a down note. But you take what you can get in this business.
Quick reminder to everybody: we're taping this show early in the week, so when Chris refers to yesterday, he's not drunk. There is no head injury. We are doing this show on
Not
Tuesday.
that I'm going to tell anybody.
No, not that I'm aware. Well, we would be able to see the bumps there, buddy. We'd be able to see the plate. So it's good to have you. If you're looking for parlays, get over to the Winners and Whiners Experts section. Check this guy out right here. As we mentioned earlier, you can get that code It is Vegas 50, and that'll get you 50% off Chris's picks, my picks, anybody's picks over at Winners and Winers. And speaking of anybody, this guy is anybody. We were partners on our podcast / radio show / video for nigh on 3-4 years now. He's Long Island's favorite son. He is the one, the only Scott Reichel. What's up, my friend?
Nothing much. Nice to see you. I'm looking forward to being on the show with all of you. Unfortunately, though, I have watched the first couple of episodes, and Rocky, I'm not sure if you're going to listen to our picks, but you should, because I'm not sure about your logic for about all of your own, but I'm happy to try to help you make some money.
Hey, I got the Jets one right, so something's working.
Did you even know who the quarterback was, by the way, for the Jets going into that game?
What?
Who was the one throwing the ball?
For the Jets?
Yeah, for the Jets.
Chad Pennington.
Oh.
You sure it wasn't Vinny Testaverde?
I think the Chad Pennington rationale was my favorite. If you're new to the show, we will all lay out very good reasons and make a case, and then Rocky will do his thing. So
where I lay out an even better reason.
Keep that in mind. Scott does free pick videos each and every day, and I know you've been in fuego lately, Scott. What have you done? Like 5-1 your last 6?
Yeah, well, we also do the college football show every Friday, including those 5-1 in the last 6. So going pretty well. Hopefully that continues over for the rest of the week.
Very good. If you don't watch our college show, you should. Shameless plug for me and Scott as we do our show, where we take our 3 favorite college games and then a Bet the Farm special. Note the hat.
How'd that do,
we
by
do
the
that
way?
Each and every Friday. What's farm one? We're 2-0 on the farms.
Yeah.
You went 3-0. I went 2-1. Toledo, they should have a defense too. That would be good. So that did not help me.
They play in the MAC. Defense is optional.
I had Toledo plus. Yeah, when they say you're the best defense in the MAC, it's kind of like being the most handsome capper on this show. It really doesn't mean much. So it's good to have you here, Scott. I'm anxious to get started on the NFL. Rocky, what can I say, buddy? You're one of a kind. Are we ready to take a look at some games, guys?
Absolutely.
Week 2 got started on Thursday night as Chiefs bettors finally breathed a sigh of relief late in the game as Kansas City took a 10-point lead to easily cover that 3.5-point spread, and they were ready to celebrate as the Chargers faced 4th and goal at the Chiefs' 7-yard line, down 2 scores. Of course, you kick the field goal and cut the lead to 7, but it's Brandon Staley, so naturally he did the dumbest, most inexplicable thing possible, setting the tone for a weekend of heartbreak for bettors. Sunday dawned, and all was right with the world if you laid 3.5 with the Ravens. Then, the Ravens decided to try a bold new strategy, namely, what would happen if we just decided to stop covering Tyreek Hill? The smoke cleared. People in the Inner Harbor hadn't been that shell-shocked since the War of 1812. Bettors quickly turned their attention to the Browns as they built on their lead with a late score that stalled the game away. Fans barely noticed when they missed the extra point. Insert Chekhov's gun here. Then, the Browns decided to employ an interesting strategy and allowed the powerhouse offense of Joe Flacco and the Jets to go the length of the field in just 2 plays. Of course, that TD, combined with the missed extra point, gave the Jets the cover, but at least the Browns' moneyline bettors could still cash those tickets. Whoops! Bettors turned to the late window as they doubled up on the Raiders. Things were going exactly as planned as the Cards and Kyler Murray couldn't get anything going. Then, the Raiders decided to let Murray run around like a toddler who has just stole mom's cell phone. Surprise! When you give somebody 20 seconds to find a receiver, they'll do just that. The rest of the games were, for the most part, underwhelming, both from a quality standpoint and from a total standpoint. The only people to cash over tickets in the Bucs game were folks who had over 2.5 times Tom Brady acted like a little bitch. And on Monday night, Bills bettors laid double digits and really had to sweat it for a quarter. Then Buffalo shut down the ghost of Derrick Henry and dared Ryan Tannehill to beat them. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Speaking of terrible Monday night quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of As the Laces Turn. Join us next week as we once again talk about the nice, easy wins, the last-second losses, and why friends don't let friends fade the bills. Starting in the NFC North, man, the nice thing about having this game, see, last week we had the Thursday night game, the Chiefs, the Chargers. It was a good game. came down to the last minute. This game might come down to the last minute, but I guarantee you nobody will be around to see it. It is a typical NFC snooze fest or AFC North snooze fest. It's the Steelers, the Browns. The Browns are favored, guys. 4.5 is the spread. 38.5 is the number there. So I'll kick it off as I always do. I put myself out there. I lay down on the train tracks and take the hit. Both teams are going to want to run the football. Why? Well, because both of their quarterbacks are terrible for starters. Cleveland, just coming off their epic collapse against the Jets, and just one pass play longer than 20 yards. Trubisky averaged just 5.2 yards per attempt against New England for the Steelers. That is not good. The under, well, it's 7-2 the last 9 times these two teams have gotten together in Cleveland. Who wins? Who cares? I got the under 38 in this one. I would lean with the Browns. This Steelers defense without TJ Watt is an entirely different unit. Give me the under, though.
For me, I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns plus the. Take the Steelers plus the points here. At the end of the day, Cleveland, I don't think should be favored. Am I impressed by their collapse against the Jets? No, not at all. The defense also was a disaster, giving up 300 plus passing yards to Flacco. I think that even though the Steelers aren't a good offense by any means, they can do enough in order to cover this number. I'm not sold on Cleveland's offense because Brissett is basically a game manager at this point, and their offense starts and ends with Chubb. I'm going to take the Steelers in what's usually a competitive series, getting points here. First team to score a touchdown might win this game, so I'm not going to lay points. I'll go with the Steelers in the under.
See, I'm gonna look the other way. Cleveland's at home; they're obviously going to be mad. An interesting stat for you, Steamroller: teams with a 13-point lead in the last 2 minutes of a game were 2,229-0 going into Sunday's game.
I saw
before
that.
The Browns, of course, did that. The last team to blow a 13-point lead in the last 2 minutes, the Browns in 2001.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance. But in this one, it's basically the battle of the backup quarterbacks. Like you said, Brissett's in there for Watson. Trubisky's there because the Steelers don't have anybody else. I don't like the way that Pittsburgh tries to move the ball. They struggle to pass. Najee Harris hasn't looked good. I'm going to go with Chubb and Hunt to run over that Steelers defense. I'm going to give the points. I'm going to take the Browns.
Team's record after Jimmy Haslam gets hit with a water bottle is 0-0. So I think there's a 50% chance the Steelers win this game. I'm going with the Steelers. Teams that after Jimmy Haslam gets hit by the water bottle will go to 0-1.
Rocky coming in hot with a situational play and a math play. Well done, Rock. All right. Well, we are. I can tell that swimming's really paying off when it comes to your football picks. I can tell, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's head to a game on Sunday. Probably a little better game. How about your Ravens laying 3 on the road against the Patriots? 43.5 is the number. Hey, here's an idea, Ravens. Maybe you might want to have somebody deep so that the receivers don't get behind you. That was a challenge with Hill and Waddle. I don't think it's going to be that big of a challenge with Myers, Parker, and Aguilar. I think the Ravens are able to play enough defense on a Patriots offense that hasn't looked great this season. Mac Jones still having a little sophomore slump. And this Ravens team was definitely able to run the ball with Lamar Jackson as an extra problem for the Patriots defense. They average 6.2 yards per carry. I don't think New England has the horses to keep up offensively. Ravens get ahead and stay there. Give me the Ravens -3.
So for me, I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. Even though they choked against the Dolphins, they were still up 3 touchdowns, which definitely is a good sign. The issue is I'm not sure New England even scores 21 points in the game. So I do think that the Ravens will avoid collapsing once again. But the Ravens have actually been throwing the ball very well. Bateman's been great. Lamar's looked comfortable in the pocket. And you're looking at the defense. The corners are a little bit concerning based on health. But as you said before, Mac Jones and the receiving corps doesn't exactly scare me. I don't like the idea of Patricia calling plays. I'm going to go with the Ravens to win this game by at least 4 points.
Can we stop calling Marcus Peters any kind of an elite cornerback, by the way? Is that
number
ship
2
already sailed?
If that counts.
Yeah, very good.
There you go.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I mean, I've got to agree with both of you guys. I think Baltimore Scott talked about Rashad Bateman. Devin Duvernay has made a big impact, too, on the other side. It's taken a lot of pressure off Mark Andrews because now they don't have to double cover him because, that's who Jackson usually looks to before he just runs. New England hasn't looked good defensively. I mean, sure, they shut down Pittsburgh, but I'm sure that, Rocky and his friends could get off the couch and hold Pittsburgh to 14 points. I'm going to take Baltimore. I just think they win this one probably by double digits. I just have no faith in Bill Belichick, and you have to wonder, has the game passed him by at this point?
I'm going to go with the Ravens with the over because Lamar Jackson is on my fantasy team, and I won this week because of it.
Solid. Very solid.
Dynamite drop in.
All right. Next one, it's going to be the Bills on a short week heading to South Beach, take on those red hot Dolphins. Bills minus 5.5, 53.5 is the total here. Guys, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The Bills are the best team in football on the offensive side of the ball. They're the best team in football on the defensive side of the ball. I don't really know what you do with this team except lose to them by a lot. Miami, I think they'll go down again by 20 in this game. This time, they don't come back. Give me the Bills, minus 5.5.
I'm going to take the Bills as well. Historically speaking, the Dolphins have been atrocious against the Bills in the past couple of years. But you're looking at Buffalo. This team, as Scott said before, is absolutely incredible, winning 41-7. They beat the defending Super Bowl champions by 21 in Week 1. The issue with Miami, even though they came from behind, they still gave up 38 points to Lamar Jackson. I don't really trust the secondary. I don't like the defense. I do like Buffalo's defense. I'll take the Bills, and I think they'll win the game by at least 7.
I'm going to have to agree, not just because I'm a Bills fan, but I mean, when you look at what Buffalo's done offensively, they beat the crap out of Tennessee last night. They didn't have Gabe Davis. They still don't have Tre'Davious White on defense. That front four creates a lot of havoc, and I know Miami retooled their offensive line, and they've got 2 really good receivers. Tua Tagovailoa, in the last 7 meetings with the Bills, Miami is 0-7. They've been outscored 258-123. That's not a good stat. I don't care what they did against Baltimore. Leslie Frazier has that defense playing well. Von Miller and those guys are going to create havoc. Tua's going to spend some time on his back picking grass out of his teeth. And Buffalo wins this one by at least a touchdown, if not more.
Bills Buffaloes have beat the former number 1 AFC seed and the Super Bowl champion. I think they're flying too close to the sun, like Icarus. They're going to get their horns fried. I'm going with Dolphins.
I'm surprised you know what Icarus is.
Yeah, well, it's the song by that one band that did Pompeii.
Oh, Bastille? Did they do Icarus too?
Yes.
All right. Well, I was thinking a little older, the band Kansas from the album Mask. So, yeah,
there you go. A tale as old as time.
The two things, one thing those have in common, I've never heard your song and you've never heard mine. I can guarantee it. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. By the way, if I was grading that, I'd give you half credit for the Icarus reference and then the melting horns. I don't really know where that came from. I believe
buffaloes have horns, right?
I believe the problem was his wings melted, but I'm no mythology pro. You know what? Let's talk about another game here. How about a game, when we call this a lot, a game only gamblers could love? It's the Bengals and the Jets. Bengals minus 4.5, and the total is 45. You know, one of these teams is perennially terrible, has disappointed their fans for years, and the other one,
and the other team's the Jets.
Is the Jets. Thank you. Don't steal my dad jokes, please. Please don't steal my dad jokes. You know, this Bengals team, they don't look good right now. I know we've talked a lot about Burrow getting sacked. 13 sacks so far in 2 games. He has taken 3 sacks or more in 7 straight and 9 of his last 10. You know, Scott and I, before the draft where they took Chase, we talked about him needing offensive line help. As good as Chase is, I'm still not sure they made the right decision. Meanwhile, the Jets, well, they recorded just 1 sack, but they kept Brissett on his toes the entire game. He had to move laterally throughout the pocket, and that did not go well for Cleveland in the end. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the home team. It's the Jets. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm actually going to agree with you here. I think that it's too many points for the Jets. Cincinnati on paper, you look at the weapons, you look at how dominant the actual receivers can be at times. The issue is they can't protect Burrow, so the receivers don't actually have enough time to get open because Burrow's on his back after 2 seconds. The Jets' defensive line, though, has been pretty good so far this season. The Ravens, that we just saw score 38 points against Miami, only recorded 13 first downs against the Jets in Week 1. I like the defense. I'm not exactly sold on Cincinnati's offense right now. I'm going to take the points at home. I think the Jets are a frisky bunch. They might not win the game, but I think 4.5 is a little bit too many points. Give me the Jets.
And again, I've got to agree. I mean, I picked Cincinnati both of the first 2 weeks, and I said Sunday on the Bucs report that if Cincinnati couldn't beat Dallas with Cooper Rush by double digits, they have more problems than we thought they did. And of course, they went out and completely sucked. You look at the fact Joe Mixon had, 4 yards at the half. Burrow's running for his life. He's throwing passes to nobody. He's throwing them into the ground. He's hitting people in the back of the helmet because he doesn't have time. What happened to all this money they spent to invest in this offensive line? On the defensive side, Eli Apple's still playing corner for some reason. So somebody's going to burn him, and that's going to lead to the Jets stealing one. And for some reason, this will probably be the only time you'll ever hear me say, take the New York Jets. But I'll take them in the points because Cincinnati's a train wreck. They've gone right back to being the Bengals.
Well, I'm going to take the Bengals because Joe Burrow, he'll turn it around eventually, right? He's 0-2 without his appendix, and I think eventually he's going to heal, get used to playing football that's not on a motorized cart, and this is the game to do it.
All right, very good. Hey, guys, 4 down, 12 to go. Hang in there. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, madame. My name is Rocky Foré, and I need your help picking the winners of NFL games.
Hello, Rocky. I am Madam Locke. Yes, I can help you. If you are pure of heart. Now, why do you want to know the winners of the NFL?
Well, so you see, I do this NFL show, and everybody who's on it is like super smart, and they know a lot of things, and I don't know anything, and they like study and stuff.
I hear you. Why don't you study?
Oh, that's...
Rocky? Rocky!
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about why, if they canceled Jericho season 1 and brought it back, why they did such a bad job with season 2.
Okay, I can help you if you focus.
Great. So, tell me about the Texans-Bears.
Yes, the Iroquois believe in the constellation Ursa Major.
Ursa Major?
It's Big Bear in Latin.
Oh, I love Big Bear. I used to go there all the time and just drink a bunch of PBRs and hang out.
You know I charge by the minute, right?
I thought this was a nightly thing.
The Iroquois tribes believe that there are 3 hunters in the sky who pursue...
Boring! Just give it to me straight, lady.
The Bears are gonna win.
You wouldn't happen to know...
Lay the 3.
Go fish.
I don't have time for games.
Hey, how come that thing has a video of me eating circus peanuts till I throw up?
Oh, don't have more than 13 peanuts.
For what?
How many peanuts have you eaten?
15.
The bathroom's around the corner.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, and welcome back. Make sure when it comes to the sportsbook, you make the good choices. Don't be a Rocky, please, please. All right, moving on. Taking a look in the NFC South. Oh, what a division this is. The South, as always, both of them. AFC South, worst division in football, no question about that. NFC South, not that far behind. It looks like they have one team at this point. It's going to be the Saints and the Panthers. Spoiler alert, neither one of these are that one team. Saints on the road, -3. Because why? Well, because it's the Panthers. 40.5 is the total. You know, New Orleans, they were able to actually run the ball really well against this Tampa Bay run defense, which has been outstanding for the last 3 seasons, better than 5 yards per carry. And that was without Alvin Kamara. On the defensive side, playoff Lenny, well, you can tell it's September because that's the way he ran. 24 carries, 65 yards. Brady beat them with his arm, basically, and good receivers. Panthers, well, they have neither one of those. I like the Saints on the road, -3.
I really don't like either of these teams from what I've seen so far this season. I think I'm going to go with the under. I really don't trust either quarterback. Mayfield's been fumbling the ball a lot. He's recovered most of them, but he's still a bit turnover prone. And Winston was awful last week. But I do like the defensive units so far from what I've seen. I'm going to go with the under. I know this total does seem a little bit low at 40.5. I think it's low for a reason. I think one of these teams probably doesn't reach 17. So I'm going to go with the under. I think you'll see a very ugly game where you hope there's something else on TV.
I know that Reichel was very mad about the Saints game because of the fact that he live bet the under and then watched Jameis Winston play Jameis Winston football in the fourth quarter.
Disaster.
I mean, that's something we talked about on Buck's Report too, is what better team to know what Jameis Winston is capable of as far as turning the ball over than Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I had a teaser on that game at 8.5. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? Just couldn't stop throwing picks. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. Carolina, you look at them. How bad is it that Carolina has the first and third overall picks from the 2017 draft on their roster, and neither one of them are any good, and they play the same position? They've got McCaffrey. That's good until he gets hurt. But the bottom line is, Carolina, I've watched them play. They're not worth a damn. I'm going to take the Saints and give the points. Michael Thomas is there. He's looked good the first couple weeks. They got Jarvis Landry, Olave's in there. Kamara should be back. And Carolina just lost to the Giants. I'm going to take the Saints and give the points. I don't care if this game is underwater. Carolina is a terrible football team.
Last week I said that I was going to pick the Saints every time until Jameis Winston proved me wrong. And he proved me wrong. So I got to go with the Panthers solely because of what I said last week.
What happens if Baker Mayfield proves you wrong?
If Baker Mayfield proves me wrong, then he will be good for about 2 weeks and go back to being bad for another couple weeks. Because that's what he does. It is the cycle.
Okay. Very good. I don't understand. Maybe you guys can help me. I don't understand why they're not utilizing McCaffrey more out of the backfield as far as a pass catcher goes. He had no targets the first week, had 4 catches last week on 5 targets, but I still think that's criminally underutilizing him. Is he 100% physically, or do you think that they're trying to save him? Guys, what do you think?
He's in the doghouse because he didn't go to Baylor or Temple.
Fair. Scott, any idea?
I was going to blame on the offensive coordinator. You got McAdoo calling plays. Do I really need to say anymore?
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Yeah, Scott's right. I mean, for all the talk they've had down here, McCaffrey's healthy. I just think Mayfield is trying to establish that he can actually throw the ball down the field. But the problem is, outside of DJ Moore, do you trust Robbie Anderson? I trust him about as much as I trust Rocky's football knowledge.
Fair.
Shots fired.
All right, very good. Hey, let's move on.
Robbie Anderson is streaky and all over the place.
That's also true. Just like his hair.
And wildly inconsistent.
There you go.
All right, let's head north. Lions, Vikings. Lions on the road. Vikings, 6 points favorites there in the Crystal Ship. 53.5 is the total. Man, I really liked this Vikings team after week 1. Man, I really like this Eagles team after week 2. The Vikings were terrible. They couldn't stop the Eagles' run, couldn't stop the Eagles' pass. They gave up 5.3 yards per carry on the ground to the Eagles. This Detroit defense is kind of sneaky, or the offense rather is sneaky good. DeAndre Swift, I think, is a stud running back. Very underappreciated. We've seen it in both games so far. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, is knocking on the door of a top 10 receiver. It's Detroit, so he doesn't get any pub, but this kid can ball. The Lions, second best scoring team in the NFL. Anybody would have guessed that? I don't believe you if you tell me that. I think this is a team that's very good. We're going to see how they travel. I think Campbell's got them heading in the right direction. It's a 1:00 start on Sunday, so Cousins will probably be fine. I think 6 points is too many, though. Give me the Lions plus the 6.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Lions here. I think the Lions are just simply put an underrated football team. And I think at the end of the day, the Vikings might win the game, but I do think it's a few too many points here. Minnesota offensively seems to really struggle outside of Jefferson. Cook hasn't really done much. Thielen might be cooked if you've actually just watched him play. He might be a little bit washed at this point, But I like what the Lions have been doing offensively. They're balanced, and they have a good receiver and a good running back, and it seems like they've kind of pieced it all together. And Hutchinson had 3 sacks last week. So if they can generate pressure and force Minnesota into some third and longs, I think they can hang around. I like Detroit. They got a shot to win the game, but I'll take them plus the points.
Yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota will win at home, but I don't see them covering the line. Like you said, they did nothing yesterday. They made Jalen Hurts look like Mahomes throwing the ball 26 of 31, 333 yards. Then you throw in he ran for, 80 yards in that game and 2 scores. We've watched Detroit run the ball a lot. Not only with Swift, you've seen Jamal Williams have good games. We've seen St. Brown had a 58-yard run against Washington in that game as well. If DJ Chark and TJ Hawkinson could actually learn to hang on to a ball, I would probably take the Lions to win it outright. But, as it stands, Minnesota's got to show me more than they showed yesterday. I'll take the Lions in the 6 points.
Lions are scoring a lot of points. Jared Goff is running around like crazy, passing the ball like crazy, trying to prove that he should never been traded from LA to begin with. And I like a good comeback story. I'm going Lions too.
All right, very good. Now a game near and dear to my heart is the Chiefs travel to Indy, take on the struggling Colts. Chiefs are 6.5-point road favorites. A lot of road favorites this week, guys. 49.5 is the total. As a Chiefs fan, you look at this game, you think, well, the Colts are playing terrible football right now. Chiefs playing really good. They didn't look great against the Chargers. Chargers, very good football team. Chiefs win by double digits, right? Well, as a veteran Chiefs fan, I've watched this team, and I've watched them go on the road, and I've watched them, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be on the road, but every once in a while, they come out absolutely flat in games that they should win easily. This smells like one of those games. You add in the factor that Indianapolis is a desperate team right now. They have no-showed 2 games in a row. I think they really want to put up a good performance for the home team, for the home crowd. I've got the Colts plus the 6.5. Give me the home dog at almost a touchdown. Yeah, I think this is just one of those games for the Chiefs. They also got a big game on Sunday, the next week on Sunday night, the national TV game against Tampa Bay. If ever there was a look-ahead spot, this is it. Give me the Colts to rebound.
So for me, I'm going to look at the total in this one. I'm going to go with the under. We know Matt Ryan is atrocious, and he probably shouldn't be in the league anymore. He's looked that bad for the first 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Mahomes has looked fine, but it does seem like he's battling a bit of a leg injury or a foot injury, which I'm sure Steehn can talk about. But I do think with both quarterbacks potentially dealing with their own type of issues at the moment, I like the under. I think this total is way too high. It's 49.5, and the Colts just got shut out by Jacksonville. I think there's a couple of ways to cash this. Either the Chiefs' defense shows up and the Colts do nothing, or the Colts actually keep the game close, like Steehn said, and they run the ball, they drain a lot of clock, keep Mahomes off the field. I think 49.5 is way too high for a team that just scored 0 against Jacksonville and scored 20 against Houston in a dome. Give me the under. I see a low-scoring game.
And something I forgot to add comes to the Chiefs' defense. Willie Gay, the news broke on Monday that he's been suspended for 4 games for his assault on a vacuum cleaner. So he will not be available for this game as far as the Chiefs go. And that makes a big difference there. He's a good side-to-side linebacker and a guy that you definitely want back there when you're trying to stop Jonathan Taylor. So I'll spend another half hour on the next show talking about getting a 4-game suspension for assaulting a vacuum cleaner versus 11 games for actual human beings. But that's another topic for another show. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I agree with Scott that the game's going to go under, but I'm actually going to go the other way, and I think Kansas City's going to win this game. I know that, like you said, this could be a look ahead because they've got Tampa Bay next week. But let's face it, this is a team in Indianapolis that has scored 20 points all season. 17 of them came in the fourth quarter against Houston. You made Jacksonville look like the 85 Bears. You're looking at a team that has gone from, in the last few years, Phillip Rivers to Brissett to Carson Wentz to now Matt Ryan. Who's next? Brett Favre?
Brian Hoyer.
I mean, how many guys are we going to get to that are washed up? Is Testaverde available? Can they go get Harbaugh? Can they get him out of Michigan and have him play? I mean, they've done nothing.
Kaepernick sitting in his chair
Jonathan
like
Taylor.
Horseshack, raising his hand.
I mean, at this point, they would have been better off trying to get Jimmy G before Lance broke his ankle. But I have no faith in Indianapolis. I mean, Taylor was completely bottled up. He had, 3 yards at halftime? He only carried the ball 9 times on Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I saw that in the box score. He had 9 carries. I didn't get that.
Yeah, and, Indianapolis hasn't shown they can stop the pass. I mean, like I said, they made Trevor Lawrence look good. Trevor Lawrence. They made Rocky's doppelganger look like a capable NFL quarterback. That's not going to cut it. Kansas City wins this one by at least 10.
All right.
You want the truth? Trevor Lawrence did not play that game. I did. That's why he looked so good.
I thought you said that you didn't even know football was on.
Yeah, because I was too busy playing one.
It wasn't on. He was in it. So he didn't know that it was on TV. He was just playing.
Are you sure this wasn't another one of your concussion-related dreams?
Well, first of all, Chris, you try getting kicked in the head by a horse 12 times under the age of 12 and see how you think. Like, my next pick, I'm not going to think about this. The Colts got shut out by the Jaguars. So, duh, I'm taking the Chiefs. The Colts suck. They would do better if they had Jonathan Taylor running a wildcat.
So now if the Colts lose, will you get kicked in the head for a 13th time while you're over the age of 12?
Yes.
How do you get kicked? I have to ask. I mean, you would think after the first 6 or 7 you'd learn. Was there a particular thing? Were you just curious to see what the underside of a horse looked like? Or how does one get kicked in the head a dozen times?
Well, I used to be really into horse racing.
Okay.
And wasn't into it. My dad was. So I'd be down there at the horse racing arenas, and I would try to get them to go faster by lighting firecrackers right behind them, and then they would just kick me in the head.
Was it the same horse, or was it 12 different horses?
It was usually the same horse.
Okay.
Yeah, his name was Butterfinger. He was
Great
actually the star in the movie Seabiscuit.
So you're rubbing forelocks with the stars, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
But the 12th time was because I did it to Tobey Maguire, and then he also kicked me in the head.
All right. Well, you want to know how far the Titans have fallen, especially in the eyes of the public and the eyes of the betting public in particular? They are 2.5-point dogs to the Raiders at home. That's right. Your Las Vegas Raiders, 2.5-point favorites, 45.5 is the total. I don't have a game on the card I hate more than this one. I'm not going to lie. This Titans defense is horrific. Just dreadful. I don't know where the pass rush went. It looked good for about a quarter against the Bills on Monday night, and then it just disappeared into 2020, which is where they were just dreadful. I've got to take the Raiders here. I'm going to take a small lean. It's one of the drawbacks of picking every game like we do. Sometimes there's games like this. Both of these teams not playing particularly good football right now. I'll take the Raiders minus 2.5.
So you got McDaniels on one.
Derrick Henry's washed up, by the way. 900 carries in the last 3 years. He averaged 27 carries a game last year. They only played 8 games, but they wanted to get the most out of him. Averaged almost 30 carries a game in the NFL. When Larry Johnson went through this, they have statistics of the guys that had carried over 300 yards. And as I recall, nobody ever matched their good season after carrying the ball 300 times. By the way, Derrick Henry's done it twice. I believe he is done.
Yeah, for me, McDaniels is on one side. I don't want to lay points with him on the road, but the Titans are terrible and they're on a short week because they played Monday night. I'm going to hold my nose and take the over. I don't like either defense in this matchup. Tennessee couldn't stop the pass at all. I think Devontae Adams is going to cook this team, especially after what Diggs did to them yesterday. Meanwhile, you're looking at what the Raiders did, and they couldn't stop anything after halftime. I'm not saying Tannehill's a good quarterback, but he's mobile. I think they could potentially generate some big plays. It's mostly just fading both defenses. I think the Raiders could score 30 in this game. It wouldn't surprise me. Tennessee might be able to get into the mid-20s because the Raiders' defense is not good either, and their secondary is bad too. Give me the over. I think 45.5 is a little bit too low.
Yeah, I think 45.5 is too low because you look at, like we said, neither one of these teams can stop anybody. The Raiders thought the game was over at halftime and then didn't show up for the second half. I mean, they were helped. Arizona was helped some by the officials, but that's the way life goes. You've got to make plays. As Jerry Glanville says, this is the NFL, which stands for not for long if you keep making those kind of calls in this league. And let's face it, with Tennessee, is there anything good you can say about them? No. They haven't been relevant. I mean, sure, they were the number one seed last year by default because a bunch of teams wilted late, and then they blew it against Cincinnati, and that was pretty much their best chance to do anything of relevance. Tannehill looks terrible. They have no receivers. Like you said, Henry's run the ball 6 billion times, and he did nothing on Monday night. I'm going to have to take the Raiders. But I would agree with Reichel and say that it's going to go over the total, too, because neither defense can stop anyone. This could be 35-31.
I'm going to take the Titans. I did a lot of research on that. Don't ask me what the research was.
I just want to know, did you put the Titans as tails because they both start with T? How did you choose which team was which on the coin?
I'm going to guess it's his favorite movie is Remember the Titans.
No, my favorite movie is Clash of the Titans.
Oh, my bad.
So if you picked the Raiders, it would probably have been Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, is that the one that's the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull prequel?
Yes.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark was first, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, there's my research. And you know what? We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages. Hi, I'm S.S Cambodia. I'm 27. I'm from the party capital of the world, babe. Las Vegas, Nevada. I like to bet parlays, all sorts of parlays, multi-sport, same game, whatever. And what has this addiction cost you? Has it impacted your job, your finances, your romantic relationships? Oh, mainly my friends just think I'm an idiot. But that other stuff too. Have you tried stopping? Nah, but I have tried cutting down to only 6 or 8 team parlays. Now, how many teams do you usually bet? The bigger the better. 10 teamers, 12 teamers, the more the merrier. Heck, I once played a 16-team 3-leg round robin. I'm sorry, I'm a little unaware. I don't exactly know. How many bets is that? 387. And how many did you win? 6. I one time interviewed a guy who has sex with his Monte Carlo and a woman who eats deodorant. And your case might be the saddest I have ever seen. I'm so glad you're able to help me. That's not what we do here. We mainly just show weirdos who do crazy stuff so the losers watching at home can feel better about their worthless lives. Oh. What? That sucks. I'm sorry, Mr. Cambodia. I thought you knew. Speed stick? It's not bad. I can get into this.
Hey, what's up? I'm Mike Mitchell. This is my show, Making Meatloaf with Mike Mitchell. Rhonda, turn the TV down! No, I'm filming my YouTube show. I told you I was filming at 3. 200 pounds and 4 years ago, when I was an offensive guard at Montana State University, I used to eat one of these meatloaves every single day to keep up my incredible strength. Just like the sponsor of today's video, Clostebol. Before we get started, here to promote her brand new book, My Mom Killed a Guy in the Line at Best Buy, parentheses, and I Forgave Her. Please welcome to the show, Melody Charmander.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. How are you today?
I'm feeling a little lightheaded. A lot of people think that I killed the guy at Best Buy, but I didn't. It was my mom.
That's hilarious. How do people think that?
I accidentally said it on page 27.
I gotta say, I read your book and I loved it. I learned a lot. And I even called my mom and forgave her.
Ha ha ha. Great anecdote, Mike. I also was reading my book today.
Wow, that's crazy.
What are we doing today?
First, you're gonna need a large pan for your meatloaf. Oh no! Do you hear that sound?
Yeah.
That means we're out of time for this week's episode of Making Meatloaf with Mike Mitchell. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash those notifications on. And also know, if you're ever accused of something that you don't do, that you didn't do, you can totally prove that in the court of law.
And writing a book about it. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the show for all your NFL predictions. We got all of them. Right, Steehn?
Absolutely, buddy. Another smooth intro. Nicely done, my friend.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Those classes are really
He's
paying.
Rocky Foré?
Yeah, that's right. Those classes
Question
are
mark?
much better than Rocky 3, no question. Those lessons are really paying off, my friend. Okay, so we're moving on, heading to the NFC East as the Eagles, the class of the division, travel to your nation's capital to take on the Commanders. Eagles, 7-point favorites on the road. Another road favorite. 47 is the total here. You know, it is just hard to picture this Commanders team stopping that Philly offense. Now, the good news is Philly defense, not great, and they're really not good against the run. Bad news is Washington really can't run the football, just 25th in rushing. I think Jalen Hurts has taken that next step. He's 7th in QBR, 10th in quarterback rating. Eagles, road favorites, give me the cover. I'm playing against the traditions and the numbers here. Usually division favorites at home. We're getting points. It's a lock. Not this time. Give me the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Eagles as well. I mean, they looked like a phenomenal football team on Monday night. They were my pick to win the division before the season started. Washington made the game somewhat close against the Lions, but they were also getting blown out before that. It seemed like the Lions kind of took their foot off the gas. Washington's not a good football team. They don't play good defense, and you're assuming Wentz is going to turn the ball over a couple of times. I mean, if Cousins threw 3 picks, Wentz might throw 3 in the first half. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I just think they have too many weapons, and I think 7's a little too short. I think they'll win the game by double digits.
Yeah, I think, Washington's big issue last week was they couldn't stop the run. And the worst thing you want to see when you can't stop the run is a team like Philadelphia that not only has a running quarterback, but they seem to have like 37 running backs that they can switch in there at will. Washington also, they lost Chase Roulier, could be out for the year with a knee injury, so losing their center is going to be a big issue. Sure, Wentz might have a revenge game in his pocket. I don't see it happening. He hasn't found Terry McLaurin nearly as much as you would think. And that makes it difficult because he's trying to rely on secondary guys like Dotson, who's a rookie, and, the recovering Logan Thomas. And like Scott said, they can't run the ball. I'm going to take Philadelphia here. They should win probably by at least 10 to 14 points. I just can't trust Washington's defense.
I got the Eagles for 3 reasons. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown. That's it.
Surprisingly, 3 pretty good reasons. All right, very good. Moving on to a game that I know everybody's excited. Everybody's had this one circled on their calendar for a year now. It's the Texans at the Chicago Bears. Bears are favorite because, somebody has to be. Bears minus 2.5. Total on this is 12. I'm kidding. It's 41. Hey, Texans, Bears. Who wins? Who cares? I have no idea. I hate both of these offenses with a passion. Can I interest you in the matchup between the 26th and 27th best scoring offenses in the NFL? That's right. That's what we got right here. We stay away from pick sixes and scoop and scores. We should be fine because I'm taking the under. Give me the under 41 Texans Bears.
I got the under as well. I do have a brief rant, though. Justin Fields was a top 10 pick, supposed to be the franchise quarterback. You're playing the Packers again, which means you're probably going to get your ass kicked, which is exactly what happened. They're down 17 points at the half. You figure, okay, Fields will throw the ball more because they have to come from behind. How do you attempt 11 passes in a game that you lost by 17 points? What was the game plan there? You have to come from behind. You drafted the kid that high. You have a new coaching staff. Don't you have to at least try to let him throw the ball? At least maybe for confidence sake? 11 pass attempts in a game that you lost by 17? Can somebody explain that to me? That doesn't make any sense.
Let Jalen cook. Let him cook.
It's the Bears. You can't explain anything rationally. They don't throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball when they were good, much less now.
I think I said Jalen. I meant Justin, by the way.
Jalen might be better than Justin at this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that.
I'm not saying Justin Fields has to be great, but at least let him try to throw the ball when your team's down 3 possessions entering the second half.
You see teams miss on top quarterback picks in the draft a lot, but rarely do you see them miss on 2 top 10 picks within a 5-year period. That's nicely done. Chris, what do you think about this game?
I think that you might not need more than 17 points to win this game. I mean, like you said, neither one of these teams can score. Neither one of these teams move the ball. I mean, we saw Houston score 9 points last week, and sadly, the Bears weren't any better as they scored 10. If I had to lean one way or the other, I'd go towards Houston just because Davis Mills has shown more to me than Fields has. And I think Dameon Pierce will have a good day on the ground. But if I was going to go one way or the other, like I said, I'd take Houston, but as far as the total, I'm sticking with the under. I think this 117 is probably the winning score if they even get there. This could be 14-6.
I've said it since week 1. The Texans are winning this division. So I'm keeping that going. They're gonna get their first win of the season. Be 1-1-1.
Okay, very good. Normally I make fun of your goofy things that you say like that. Sounded a lot goofier before week 1. Doesn't sound all that goofy now. So Texans, yeah, somebody's got to win that division. Why not? Jaguars at the Chargers. Chargers 7-point home favorites. 48 is the total. Remember Jacksonville beating Buffalo last year, 9-6. Everybody, that was great. That was certainly the high point of the Urban Meyer year in Jacksonville, because after that they went on to lose 8 straight games by an average of 17.6 points per game. I think the Chargers should have a lead big enough in this game for it to even be Staley-proof. Chargers, better team, both sides of the ball. I like the Chargers minus the 7.
So I like the significant rest advantage for the Chargers because they played on Thursday, but I'm seriously concerned with Herbert's ribs. And it was officially determined that he fractured some rib cartilage. I know he threw the great throw at the end of the game anyway, but that does concern me a bit. Jacksonville looked good against Matt Ryan. Congrats, I guess. Nice job. But Herbert's much better than Matt Ryan. I think I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think this number's where it should be, so I'm not exactly that strongly opinionated about this game, but I'll take the Chargers at home with the extra prep time. I think they bounced back. They went up against 2 division rivals in their first 2 weeks. Now they have a much easier opponent with Jacksonville in week 3. I think they respond and win this game comfortably.
I think they win this game comfortably with Easton Stick. Is Stick still the number 2, or did they get a Rena QB there?
I think it's still Stick, but I'm not.
They
sure.
got
I thought
it was Chase Daniel.
I think you're right.
Or Chase Daniel came in
right.
when Trevor got hurt.
Another fine Mizzou clipboard holder, maybe the best of all time, Chase Daniel.
What can we say about the AFC South, where this is a division where they've had 2 divisional games, and the division as a whole has 1 win? That just tells you how bad that division is right now. Sure, Jacksonville's in first place. Congratulations. You're the only team with a win after 2 weeks. And you've had games where you've had 2 division games on the schedule. Sure, they looked good last week, but like Scott said, it was Matt Ryan. He looked terrible. They didn't have Michael Pittman. They didn't have Alec Pierce. Then they forgot that they had a running back that could actually run. This week, if Herbert's hurt or not, I don't think it matters. As long as Keenan Allen plays, I know he missed the game Thursday, but you still got Mike Williams, you got Palmer, you got Gerald Everett, you got Austin Eckler. The Chargers have too many weapons. Give the points. Take the Chargers at home. They bounce back from last week's loss.
San Diego is a beautiful place. I'm taking the Chargers. This game's not even going to be close.
All right.
It's not even going to be close to San Diego either.
I was going to say, should I tell them or should Houston?
I don't. Go ahead. I don't have the heart.
They don't play in San Diego anymore. It is a
Since
nice
when?
place. I mean, you're not wrong, but they play in Los Angeles, which might be nice too, but that doesn't really have to do with what you said. Does that change your logic at all now, knowing that they don't play in San Diego?
I thought the Rams played in Los Angeles.
They do.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you're also not right, because they both play in Los Angeles.
In the same
It's
stadium.
old as new again.
There's 2 teams in Los Angeles?
Same stadium.
Oh my. How do you keep this track?
I don't know if you know this, but the Jets and Giants play in the same stadium too.
Don't tell me they both play in New York.
No, they play in New Jersey.
I was going to say,
They don't play.
What? This is so hard
You might wanna
to
write
comprehend.
You might want to write this down.
Yeah, there's gonna be a test later. I'm surprised that wasn't on the Wonderlic.
Oh, my
All right,
God.
let's move on. 2 of the all-time greats going at it again This game was a dud last year between the Packers and the Buccaneers as the Buccaneers ran them out of town, opened up the cannon fire from the ship in the end zone. Will it go that way this year? Well, the Bucs are a 1-point favorite at home. 41.5 is the total. Guys, I'm still not convinced this Packers offense is going to be okay without Adams. Maybe later in the season, but it ain't there yet. Lazard had his first game back last time. That helped. Will it help enough? I don't know. This Tampa Bay defense, despite giving up some yards on the ground in New Orleans, they have given up just 13 points in 2 games. I think this is going to be an ugly game, but I think the Bucs do enough. I'll take the Bucs, and officially I'll make it -1 on my card. It's going to be Bucs money line.
So for me, I feel like it's going to sound crazy liking an under involving a game between Rodgers and Brady, but I kind of have to like the under because I don't like either offense right now. And Mike Evans is suspended, so the Buccaneers will be missing their leading receiver. Godwin didn't play last week. I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. You know that your roster or your wide receiver core is in dire straits when you sign Cole Beasley off free agency to be the quick fix there. But the Packers have to run the ball with Jones and Dillon. Offensively, I thought they were okay against Chicago. They didn't look amazing, not many big plays. I see a lot of running clock in this game. I think Fournette's going to also have a lot of touches because they don't have many weapons. I like the under, as crazy as that sounds. I see a 2017 type of game.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a ton of points either, but, you're looking here, and don't forget, Evans, while he is suspended, the funny thing about that was, he was suspended by John Runyon, and John Runyon's kid plays for the Packers. Evans didn't luck out because it'll be James Thrash that hears his suspension request as opposed to Derek Brooks. But you might not see Godwin. You might not see Julio Jones. Like you said, Cole Beasley was signed. I know you were saying, Reichel, that you were surprised that somebody didn't sign Beasley earlier.
I thought the Cowboys would, but the point is when you're signing a guy off the street in the middle of the week, it tells you're not exactly sold by your wide receiver depth at the moment.
Well, I mean, Brady was pissed off the other day because, Scotty Miller was dropping passes. Rashad Perriman wasn't good. I mean, do you think Brady misses Gronk? I do. But I think Rodgers is going to miss Adams a lot more because those rookie receivers haven't done anything yet. I'm going to take the Bucs, but like you said, it's going to be a rock fight. Don't expect a ton of points in that game.
This one was a hard one to pick, but I'm going to go with... Oh, shoot, my pizza's here.
Did he say his pizza was here?
Since there's cheese on pizza, does that mean he's taking the Packers?
He's fun to do a show with.
I got the Packers because they're the land of cheese, and cheese is on pizza.
That's what I said. I said my exact logic was. Okay, let's go.
Well done.
Big. Huge.
Well done. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Let Rocky share his pizza with everybody, and we'll be right back after this non-pizza related message.
Jesus, Jefferson, it's nearly freezing out.
What?
You got somewhere to stay tonight?
Yeah, my house is literally right there. I was just walking home.
Whatever, get in the car. If I take this kid in, I can change his life. It's bigger than football. It's life. On the field, you can call me coach, but in here, you can call me Dan. This is where the magic happens, baby.
Coach, are you drunk?
Nah. All right, so I got Totino's or Hot Pocket.
I don't think that I can leave him, Mom. I'm genuinely concerned for his safety.
How do you think I feel about yours?
He's a grown man living with another man named Todd.
Who's my roommate, Todd?
What's up?
He doesn't go to bed till like 5 a.m. Wakes up about 3, does Uber. Don't leave. I need this. This kid means everything to me. I would die for him. This kid has changed my life. By God, I want to change his. We might be down 49-7, but if we want to come out on top of this game, We need to look somewhere higher than ourselves. The Bible.
Coach, that is a menu for a Chinese takeout restaurant.
You hungry? Yeah, so they said he's never gonna walk again. But what about his scholarship? Oh yeah, they revoked that. Said his grades weren't good enough. What? But don't you worry. I'm gonna tutor him. Hey Jefferson, what are you doing on the field this early?
Oh, my dad and I always throw before he goes to work. What are you doing here so early?
I haven't slept. But don't worry, I'll play catch with you.
I'll get it.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Rocky, y'all full ever? Y'all full of pizza?
I ate too much pizza.
Solid. And we got none of that pizza. We got none.
No such thing as too much pizza.
If he ate a whole large pizza, he's bordering on it right there. So let's go on with the game. Man, we got some great matchups this week, and then we've got games like this. This is going to be the Seahawks and the Falcons. Falcons are the underbirds. They're the Seahawks favorites by 1 at home. 42 is your total. This Seattle offense, just no one's surprise, is having some problems. They've got great receivers. They have average running backs, and they certainly would appear to have 2 below-average quarterbacks at that position. Scored just 24 points in 2 games. Now, they'll do better against the Falcons, but I don't think they're going to be enough. Oh, man. I'm going to hold my nose. I'm going to take the Falcons on the money line.
It's pretty tricky because Seattle is such a good home field advantage. We saw that in week 1. But I'm actually going to take the Falcons as well. The Falcons this year remind me of the Lions last year. They're a pretty fun team that's always randomly competitive, that finds a way to blow games late. But Geno Smith, after the first half against Denver, has looked like Geno Smith, and he's been atrocious for about 6 straight quarters. Mariota's looked pretty good. Drake London's looked good. I'm still not sure why they don't try to get Kyle Pitts the ball, but that's a separate story. But the Falcons hung around against the Rams, and the Rams are still a good football team. The Falcons should have beaten the Saints. I think you can make a serious case the Falcons might be one of the better 0-2 teams in the league from what we've seen so far. I'm going to take them. I like what I've seen.
I'm going to go the other way. I just don't trust the Falcons, especially on the road. Like you said, Kyle Pitts hasn't been involved. I'm waiting to see his face on a milk carton because they haven't gotten him the ball at all. I like Cordarrelle Patterson, sure. But, like you said, they find ways to steal defeat from the jaws of victory. They had a chance to win the game Sunday. They blew it. I don't see them doing any better here. I think Seattle finds a way to win at home. They surprise Denver. They can take down the low-hanging fruit that is the Falcons.
The peregrine falcon can fly 240 miles an hour, and the Seahawk isn't even a real bird, so I'm going Falcons.
I'm not sure any of that is true. I don't think a bird can fly 240 miles an hour.
A peregrine falcon can.
Can 240 miles an hour. Can go faster than an F1
bullet.
car.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a Monty Python.
They are good hunting birds.
Is this an African swallow or a European?
Well, European swallow maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. Let's move on before we all start doing our favorite Monty Python bit. Hey, speaking of the Rams are going on the road down to Tempe to take on the Cardinals. Rams 3.5-point road favorites. 49 is the total here. Guys, I don't know if there's a problem with the Rams or if they just haven't got it untracked yet. A lot has been made of the fact that they played virtually no starters in the preseason, and they look like a team playing about their second or third preseason game. They haven't looked good yet, but this Cardinals defense, man, it is not good. It is not good at all. I think the Rams, I think they score. I think the Rams defense does enough to keep Murray frustrated, and the Rams pull off the road win and the cover.
So, historically speaking, Kingsbury and Murray against McVay has not gone too well for Arizona. We saw that in the playoffs last year. I'm going to go with the Rams. Even though the game was close against Atlanta, they were dominating. They were up 21 points with about 8 minutes to go in the game. And then the Rams ended up kind of choking it away before winning by 4. I think the Rams are still a much better team. Arizona won the Super Bowl because they came from behind and beat the Raiders on the road. Congratulations. But I'm not overly impressed by this roster. Hopkins is still out. Moore, we're not sure if he's going to play or not. The defense is still not very good. They had a very nice comeback win against the Raiders, but you still trailed by 20 at the half to the Raiders. I don't think the Cardinals are a very good team. I like the Rams. I think that if they did not take their foot off the gas and they won the game by double digits against Atlanta, they'd be favored by a lot more. I'll take the gift at 3.5.
I've got to agree. I think the Rams are by far the better team. When Greg Dortch is your top receiving threat, you've got some issues. Murray said to run for his life. That offensive line can't block it. Now you've got to try to block Aaron Donald. Good luck with that. James Conner may or may not play, so you will see a lot more Eno Benjamin and Darrell Williams. And who's going to cover Cooper Kupp? I mean, they couldn't cover anybody last week. The Rams should, like Scott said, this is a gift at 3.5. The Rams are going to win this one by at least a touchdown.
Week 1 was Call of Duty Double XP weekend. Week 2, a new Call of Duty beta came out. There is nothing this weekend. Weekend after that was another Call of Duty Double XP. Kyler Murray's going to have a comeback week. He's spending at least an hour watching film this week. I think he's going to figure it out. Greg Dortch, underrated as heck.
All right, very good. And
Cardinals.
for those of you that are new to the show, Rocky always bases his Cardinals picks on how much video gaming Kyler Murray will be doing over a particular weekend. So it's a unique strategy, and you'll only find it here on Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas. So yeah,
I would have had it right.
Are you sure he's only playing Call of Duty? How do you know he's not playing Madden or something else? Because that could count as film study.
He follows him. He follows Kyler Murray in the gaming platforms.
Until I was blocked.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we've told the story before about him getting kicked out of his Twitch chat for asking silly questions of Kyler Murray. So,
Tough break.
Hey, it's now the Jimmy Garoppolo era in San Francisco. The Trey Lance era has ended, at least for this season, after 1.5 games. 49ers travel to the Mile High City, take on the Broncos. 49ers road favorites once again, 1.5 points. 45 is the total here. Speaking of offenses I have no confidence in, the Broncos have scored 16 points in each of their games. I think they're going to be lucky to get to 16 against this stout 49ers defense. The Niners, well, they're familiar with Mr. Russell Wilson, having played in that division for so long. Losing Lance actually helps the 49ers. I think Garoppolo is the better quarterback for this system, at least right now. Losing Kittle doesn't help. Debo is healthy, and so is that defense. Give me the Niners -1.5.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. You said losing Kittle. He might be back this week. We're not sure, so we'll see if he potentially suits up. But I'm mostly just going to fade the coach here. I think Shanahan's a lot better than Hackett, and I think that Hackett's name's appropriate based on how he's coached for the first 2 games because he's an offensive-minded coach, and they have the worst red zone offense in the league. I think that if the Broncos are not going to be able to actually score touchdowns, they're not going to be able to do enough against the 49ers to actually get the job done here. Wilson has also really not looked comfortable, but you look at who they've played. They played the Seahawks and the Texans, 2 of the underwhelming teams in the league. Now they have a massive step up in competition. I like the Niners here. I think Kittle might suit up, but I do think the Niners get the job done.
See, I look at it the other way. You're going to talk about who Denver's played. San Francisco lost to Chicago in a monsoon and then got to play Seattle. You can't really say there was any kind of competition there either. Sure, the Broncos are 0 for 6 in the red zone as far as putting the ball in the end zone. They've had some dumb calls from the coaching staff. Those things are going to even out over time. I think Wilson's familiarity with the 49ers is going to work in his favor. I look for Cortland Sutton to have a big game and for that 2-headed duo of Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams to run the ball and force San Francisco to cheat up a little bit, which will help. I know Jerry Jeudy might not play, but hey, they got Albert O that they can throw to, right? I'm going to take the Broncos just because I can't trust the Jimmy Garoppolo-led team.
I can't tell if Nathaniel Hackett is just having a hard time adjusting to the atmosphere in Denver, or if he just is as dumb as me. So I'm going 49ers.
Can I vote?
Yes.
I vote. I think you meant altitude, by the way.
Okay.
Did you mean altitude or atmosphere?
It's the same, right?
It's not the same. It is not the same. He could be having trouble with the atmosphere too. There's a lot of hippies in Denver, and if he's a button-down kind of guy, you're not going to win. Especially if you get over to Boulder, a lot of hippies. It probably scares him. So,
I do like watching the Broncos games though, because Nate Hackett looks like how I would look if I had to call plays.
Fair. Overwhelmed.
He looks shocked that someone had just handed him a play calling sheet.
We're waiting. All right, and the last game on the card, they saved the best for last. It's the Monday night special NFC NFC East showdown between the Cowboys and the Gigantes. Giants, 2.5-point home favorites. 39.5 is the total. You know, I'm looking at this game. I've got to lean towards the Giants. I'm just not sure that Cowboys offense, while they can get after the passer, I'm just not so sure how they're going to stand up against Saquon Barkley. I think Barkley's looked good. Danny Dimes has looked, good enough for right now. I'm not sure that he's passed his audition for the season, but so far after 2 games, he's well on his way. Total in this game is low, and it's low for a reason. I think both of these defenses are a little better than their offenses right now, despite the fact that I do have questions about Dallas being able to stop the Giants offense. I just think the Giants offense is methodical. Even if they get to a score, I think they're going to go on long drives to get there. That long drives equals under to me. Give me the under 39.5 in this one.
I'm going to go with the Giants in this one at home. It is the first road game for Dallas, so I wonder how they're going to travel now that they actually have to play outdoors for once. But looking at that Bengals game, the Bengals couldn't block anybody. The Giants' offensive line is actually better than Cincinnati's. That's not saying much. But still, Giants are 2-0. They're going for the first 3-0 start in, I don't know, about 50 years? I don't know. It's been a long time since the Giants started off 3-0. But the point is, the Cowboys, after halftime, did nothing with Cooper Rush offensively. They had the game-winning field goal drive. That was it. That's the only points they scored in the second half. I like the Giants. Seems like Dable's actually building something. They're starting to get some momentum going. Barkley's good, but the Giants have some weapons. The Cowboys offensively, I still don't really like. And defensively, I still don't really like. Give me the Giants in a rock fight. This game could be 17-14, 17-13, but I'll take the Giants at home. I'll fade the Cowboys going on the road for the first time this season.
Yeah, I think you've got to fade Dallas at this point. You're looking at a team, their best receiver was Noah Brown, who is only familiar with Rush because of the fact that they were both on the practice squad. The plus side, Dallas will get Michael Gallup back, but Ezekiel Elliott looks washed up. He's just as bad as Derrick Henry. I'm surprised they don't give the ball more to Tony Pollard. But in the end, you don't play it on the road. The Giants have played good football, which is scary. As Reichel mentioned, the Giants' offensive line is better than the Bengals, but I could find 5 tackling dummies or 5 Rockies that can block better than Cincinnati. Micah Parsons isn't going to run free and wild like he did the last couple of weeks. I'm going to take the Giants here. I think Danny Dimes, he can make a couple plays with his legs. May find Sterling Shepard, or God forbid, maybe the Giants will actually play Kadarius Toney for more than 7 snaps. I'll take the Giants at home to be a surprising 3-0.
The Bengals embarrassed me last week after my rant about the Cowboys, and that just made me even angrier at the Cowboys. So I'm going Giants because the Cowboys suck.
All right. Very solid. Very solid. All right, boys. Well, week 3 is in the can. Thanks very much for stopping by. Want to remind everybody you can check me and these guys out at other places as well. Chris, I know you're over there at Winners and Winers. How do we get some of those groovy parlay picks?
Well, like you said, if you go to the Winners and Winers experts page, you can find me on there. You can always find me on Twitter at Betting Royalty. No spaces in between because they don't let you put them in there. But or you can see myself and Reichel at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on the Max Wagers Network with Just Parlays.
Well done. Way to get that passive-aggressive slap at Twitter into your promo part. Well done indeed. And Reichel, where can we listen to you? Where can we read you? Where can we find you?
So, giving up free picks on YouTube every night on the Winners and Winers page. So if you want some free picks, check that out. Besides that, still doing the show with Chris every day at Just Parlays. And also got the college football show with Steehn. So if you want some picks, I got free picks all over the place.
All right, very good. You can check me out, of course, on Twitter at Steehn-Roller, STEEHNROLLER. Check the Winners and Winers YouTube page. I also do a free pick video each and every day, and you can get my premium plays as well. Shameless plug, 50% off. You put in Vegas 50, get you 50% off my plays, Chris's plays, any other capper there. Just put that code in. That's our special thank you for watching the show. Rocky, last week you said you were going to be behind. Were you going to be behind the drugstore shooting off bottle rockets?
I had Walmart, I believe.
Walmart shooting off bottle rockets. Where can we find you this week?
This week, Friday night, I am DJing a rave in a warehouse in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Check me out there. Make sure to be wearing your blindfolds. This is a blind event.
Is that right down the street from the Ghetto Arby's?
I think so, if the Arby's is still there, yeah.
All right, very good. Sounds like your career is sounds like that DJ career is really taken off. Guys,
it is.
Can't thank you enough for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks very much for spending some time with us. Thanks for watching today. We appreciate you guys, especially if you watched all the way through. God bless you. You're the real heroes. Hey, we do this every single week. We'll be back next week for week 4 of Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest sports betting show in the world. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.